Hi guys, welcome to XtraTalk. We have Eyejax with us today.
Hi guys.
Guys.
Thank you.
You know why we're clapping, right?
No, tell me.
It's been a long time.
It's been a very long time.
What was the last time you were here? 3 months? More than 3 months ago?
I think around 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, man. You missed us, right?
Yes, I missed you guys greatly. And
I mean, we know you had your personal reasons for not being here. But we're glad you're back.
Yes.
And we have a couple of things to discuss today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah? Okay. Let's start with this week and start at the back, the defense. Veltman. Let's start with Veltman. Surprisingly, there are interests for Veltman from Premier League clubs, even an Italian football team, and also Olympique Marseille was mentioned. It was more an inquiry, but he's under the radar. And how old is he now? He's 28.
28, yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think it's time for Veltman to maybe leave Ajax, or do you think, you know what, it would be nice if he just stay with Ajax because we need some stable defender, with us. Because maybe Schuurs, maybe Alvarez, they're not ready yet. So how do you see these things?
I think, I'm not Veltman's biggest fan. I think he performed very well last year. Maybe his best year at Ajax. Performance-wise, he's very decent. I do think he deserves to make his transfer. He had a contract that was already almost done, and he extended it for 1 year. Now he's 28. He has spoken about a foreign adventure for a while now. So I think it's also not, can we use him another year? What are the terms that he agreed on with Mark Overmars, for example? Also, I think it's better if he maybe leaves, so there's more room for Schuurs to develop himself. Because for me personally, I think Schuurs is the future. And I think Veltman is very decent, but it is not a long-term solution. This guy only has a contract until 2021. So if you let him stay this year, it's a very big chance that he leaves for nothing next year, that he's becoming a free agent. So when that happens, you miss a lot of income. And maybe if you can sell him for, like, I don't know what his market value is, but let's say something between 10 and 50 million maybe. If you get this for him, you can use this to get other players to rebuild the squad a little bit. So I think that is maybe the best solution, if you ask me, to let him go, but only for a decent price.
All right, I understand. So also for Veltman, he has been his whole career, of course, with Ajax.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, we also, we like the guy. He's been with Ajax all the time.
Yeah.
So he deserves also a transfer. And if I'm not mistaken, he was supposed, actually, he got interest from West Ham United 2 years ago, I think, but then he got injured.
Yeah.
So that was a shame.
Yeah.
But then he came back stronger, which surprised us.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody expected it.
He did very decent last year. He was one of the solid players. With Veltman, I always thought he was a little bit below par of a player for Ajax standards. But last year he was like a little bit above average. But I do think that is his max. I don't think he has the ability to grow even more than that. So,
yeah. And also, there's some debate among the fans, but even with the coaches, what is he? Is he a central defender or is he a right back? Because with Peter Bos actually preferred him over Tete.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
And
which was weird because Tete was terrific. He had a very good tackle,
but Bos preferred Veltman in his system,
Yeah.
And now you see with Ten Hag that he prefers to have him as a central defender and not as a right back. So he can do both. It's a matter of how you fit him in your system.
Matter of taste also.
Yeah, exactly. But he's always been there for us.
Yeah. So no bad feelings about Veltman, but still, I think it's best for him also to pursue his dreams.
Yeah, of course.
And I think as a club, as a child of the club, because this guy's 28, if he doesn't do it now, maybe it will not happen again,
Yeah.
So for him, I also want to give him like the opportunity. If they ask me, let him get the opportunity to see if it suits him.
And as we said, he deserves it.
Yeah, exactly. And for me personally, I would rather see him in the center than at the back position, because I prefer Mazraoui and Dest there above Veltman. So for me, if he stays, it's more as an option for the central back position. But I actually hope and I prefer Schuurs there this year. So,
yeah, but then again, exactly. So if we're looking at him in the central defender role, there are a couple of guys competing for that spot, which brings us to the next topic, actually. If Veltman would leave, and he will get his chance to go to another club in the foreign leagues, who would be the next one, according to you? You already mentioned Schuurs. Why not Alvarez or maybe even Timber? We didn't see Timber play a lot last season, but he did come in. One match, I think it was against PSV even.
It's too long ago for me. I don't remember.
I don't remember which game it was. Maybe Heerenveen.
I think he did pretty solid that game, actually.
Exactly. So he did very solid. But then there are three potential candidates.
Yes. I actually spoke about this with some followers on Twitter. And that was before the rumors that Botman is leaving definitely now for Lille, I think.
Yes.
It was probably now for 8 or 9 million, the last rumor. So this is, I think, a done deal. For me personally, if Veltman should go, Schuurs is the number one guy for me. He's big, he's strong. Yeah, he's still a youth product, so he's not that old. Can still grow a lot. He just needs some more time in the squad, and I think he has the potential to be a very good central defender.
Yeah,
he's strong. He can head the ball well. He also has a pretty solid pass. He can also dribble a little bit into the midfield. I think he's a decent player, and
in principle, he possesses all the qualities for an Ajax defender.
Yes.
The thing that we saw last season or this season. Sometimes he lacks concentration, so he makes really big mistakes.
Especially a few times when he dribbled into the midfield and then he lost the ball. And this is something that you need to grow in.
Or the last minute goal we conceded against AZ.
Yeah, that was.
He was playing a very good game.
He was one of the best players on the field, and this Boadu guy just from the corner. Still hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the number one option for me is Schuurs. Behind him, I would have said Botman because he played pretty decent at Heerenveen, but probably in the eyes of Ten Hag and for Overmars, he isn't an option. Or this guy maybe wants to leave.
But Botman is a left-footed player.
That's true,
and that's something also I wanted to touch upon with you. Do you think maybe Ajax was a little bit easy letting Botman go to Lille? Not go, of course, we got 8 to 9 million.
Which is pretty decent.
Which is pretty decent. I mean, he hasn't played for the Ajax squad yet, but we were hearing an interview not even 2 weeks ago from Overmars saying that he's a youth product. He did very good at Heerenveen. Next step is that he, come to the Ajax squad and try to get his chances there.
I agree, and I think we said goodbye to him too easily because if you see like the players we got from abroad, like a Magallan, this guy isn't performing well. He hasn't the potential to be like a number one central defender at Ajax. And this guy, he talks the language. He knows the Ajax school. He has the experience within the Eredivisie. So why not give him a chance?
Let's be frank. He's not a finished product, right?
No,
he really needs to make the step still.
Yeah.
And he has Blind in front of him. Yeah. Let's be honest. It's not easy. I mean, you're not going to outplay Blind in that position.
I understand his decision that he wants to leave because if you have Blind in front of you, it's difficult. He's not going to be surpassed by Botman.
Exactly.
He's one of the carrying players, and Ten Hag will always put him in his starting 11.
Yeah, but moving back to Ajax, right? Yeah. I mean, you said Ajax maybe was a bit too easy to let him go. Yeah. So, of course, we don't know if Botman would accept like being the second tier player behind Blind, because he was playing on a regular basis with Heerenveen. But Blind also, we know from Blind, and we discussed this also last week in the XtraTalk with Sahbi. Blind also it's not his final destination. Ajax is not his final destination. That's what he said. I mean, if there would be a nice club coming in, he would leave.
Yeah.
So that would actually mean that you have to have somebody as a backup.
Yeah.
And Botman would actually fit there if he develops.
That's a bit of a problem at Ajax, to be honest. If you look at the left back position, what do we have behind Tagliafico?
Left back? Yeah, exactly. That's another point. Exactly.
Same as the now, if you let Botman leave, what is the backup behind Blind as the left central defender?
It means that we're going to do the same as this season, which is shift Martinez back to the central back position if Blind cannot play.
This is not something I prefer.
Me neither.
Because I think Martinez has been one of the solid factors in the midfield. And this is something that Erik ten Hag failed to achieve last season, like a balance on the midfield. And he was one of the few players who performed very well. It was very solid. And you can sacrifice him to let him play in the central defender position, but he's also needed for the balance in the midfield.
Well, talking about the role of Martinez, Ten Hag also mentioned that he's going to experiment putting him as a left back. Yeah. If Tagliafico, I mean, the chances are really there that Tagliafico will leave. How do you think about that? Because Zahabi was a bit positive about that idea. He thinks it might work. How do you view it?
I think Martinez is a terrific player and it could work also as a left back. But I think you will lose a little bit of his value from other positions. I think he will be a decent left back, but I think he will be a terrific number 6. So
because you think he brings the defensive stability to the midfield?
Also, are you going to sacrifice the possibility that what he can bring on the midfield for a decent performance that he can deliver on the left back? Or do you get a quality player to substitute Tagliafico?
I'm actually, this is a good point. I'm actually a bit worried because, look, we have strong players in the squad that are up for grabs, basically. Yeah. If some clubs come and they pay the money that we want to for these players, they will leave.
Yes.
So what happens is how we will solve this issue. And now you're hearing a lot of, experiment coming in.
Yeah.
The next experiment that we heard about is also trying Promes as a number 9.
Yeah.
So how do you see that?
I'm not a fan of it, I think. Promes has the ability to go deep. Also from other positions. You have seen this a lot.
It's one of his strengths.
Yes.
Exactly the same as Neres.
Exactly, but he does this from positions that are not a striker position. So he's becoming an extra striker sometimes. If you put him in a striker position, you actually sacrifice that because he would go deep as a second person next to the striker. Also, I think Promes will be a player that would be good at the striker position if you play counter-attacking football. So he's fast and he needs room to go deep, And for the Ajax style, you usually need a player that is also able to hold the ball.
Like Tadic does, or Traore does.
So there are a different type of strikers. And I do not think Promes is the same type of striker that Ajax usually needs in this position.
Why do you think Ten Hag is thinking about that?
Yeah,
or considering
we should actually ask Erik this. I don't know. I can only guess. Maybe he wants to establish a little bit more of diversity in his front players. So you have a group of Huntelaar, who is the veteran. I think he will be like last minute substitute, like last 15 minutes to break it open. You have Tadic, he will probably be number 1. And you have Traore, he's a very good product. Yes, upcoming, a very big talent, and I have high hopes for him. But those are different type of players. And maybe he's searching for a type of player that can also play with room. When you have a lot of room and you need to take care of that, then you have more. So maybe it's better to use Promes than a Tadic. For example.
Promes might be used for tactical purposes,
exactly.
According to you. Could it be also that maybe we're getting a lot of options on the wings?
Yes,
because we have Anthony coming in.
Yes,
we have Neres.
Yeah,
we even have Noah Lang.
Yeah, But let's be honest. I think it could also has to do with Ten Hag maybe wants to use Tadic as a number 10. And
could be
because this is a vacant position, Ziyech is gone. If Donny leaves, then the number 10 is something that has to be filled also. And Tadic can do this pretty well, I think. So it can also be that he wants to try out maybe Promes as a striker and Tadic as a false striker behind it.
That's possible.
So I think those are the two options why Erik wants to practice with this. But this is, for me, it's a guess, I don't know for sure.
No, I understand. But what would you be in favor of that?
I would be in favor of that for trying it, but I would not be in favor of that for doing this every match. I'd rather see Tadic in the striker position or Traore than Promes, because I think Promes is a very a dangerous player from the flanks. And I do not know if Antony is already ready. That's nice to fill in that position because he's new. And usually South American players,
They need some time.
They need some time to adjust.
Yeah.
If you look at Neres, he wasn't there also from the beginning. He needed a half a year to like settle in a bit. So I think we have high hopes for Antony. I think he would do very well, but I think he needs a little bit time. And if you put Neres and Promes on the flanks, you have two players that know how to play those positions and that have experience at Ajax.
Okay.
So for me, that's
clear.
the preference.
That's clear. Final point I want to touch upon is the midfield. Something that's recurring because this season it was kind of a puzzle for Ten Hag to find the right balance. And I don't think we reached it yet.
No.
How do you view it? Should we go out and buy a new midfielder or should we try with the players we have at the moment? Because we have Gravenberg, we have Eiting, we have Martinez, we have Marine even. People forget about Marine. We still have him. How do you see it? What would you do?
It all depends if Donny leaves or not. If Donny leaves, definitely get somebody. Also
for the 10 role.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, or somebody for the 6. That's also possible. But also, if you start trying out Martinez as a left back, you sacrifice somebody who had and who brought a little balance to the midfield.
And who has played it for a year.
Exactly. So if you decide to put him as a left back and you do not buy a left back, then you need to buy an extra midfielder. It's choices you need to make. You can do both. So for me, I would buy another attacking midfielder, for instance, or a midfielder that can play attacking midfielder or maybe on the 6 role. Like Klaassen. People say Klaassen, let's get him. I'm not his biggest fan. I've also said this on Twitter. It's his playing style that I'm not that fond of, but I do think he could be terrific at Ajax. He knows the playing style of Ajax. He's a youth product.
Yeah.
I'm not his biggest fan, but I will, of course, support him if he comes back, and I think he can do very well. But I would rather see somebody with a little more technical kind of player. I've heard Proper named also, Davy Proper from Brighton, I think.
Yes, right.
I think it's a terrific player also. It could fill in that position. Probably.
Next to Martinez?
No, maybe more as a 10 or maybe as a 6. He could do both, I think. But he's more of a 6, I think.
Do you think he will complement Martinez on the midfield?
I think so, because Martinez is more of a defending kind of player, like solving situations, getting the ball. It's a lot of poise he has in his play, And I think Prepper is more of a passing kind of midfielder.
Controlling, passing, technical, more technical also.
Me personally, I do not know if it would be a great fit, but I'm a big fan of Hans van Aken from Club Brugge. He's a tall guy. He has a lot of scoring ability. He scored a lot in the Champions League also last year. And
what is his contract situation? Would he be?
I don't
could
know.
Ajax buy him? You think?
I do think he's maybe a little bit expensive. I think 10 million at least, maybe a little bit more. I think he's 27 also already, so he's not the youngest, 27 or 28. So I don't know how long his contract still is, but you should check some footage from this guy. He's pretty good player. He's also big. He's like 193. He has also a good aerial ability. He can head the ball very well. And he also has the same skills that Promes has. He goes deep and he penetrates the box. So I'm actually a big fan of him. I think he's a decent player. I don't know if he's the perfect player to fit the Ajax style, but I do like the way he plays. So I would not be sad if they buy him, but that is just an option that is also there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's been quick. We went through a lot of things.
Yes.
So thanks again.
Yeah, of course, man.
We'll not going to wait another 3 months to see you.
No. It was good to see you guys again.
Same to you.
All of you.
All right. Guys, thank you for watching. Yeah. Please let us know in the comment what you thought of Eyejax views on what we discussed, and we'll see you next time.
And don't forget to subscribe, guys. Bye.